me now. Hey guys, it's Tim Gillette, and we're back here with another Tim Gillette show, and I got Dr. Marlena with us today. It's interesting, some of the people I get to meet along the way, and the great people who have connected me to some new people, and this is one of them where I actually get to meet somebody new. Now, I've been on a couple calls with her through David Fagan, who was on a week or so ago, and connected me and said, hey, this would be a great guest. So I'm looking forward to finding out about her today on air. And let's bring her on right now. Dr. Marlena, how are you?
I'm fabulous, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. So, I'm trudging away. I think you're number 70 of 100.
Wow, you're going to get there real quick.
I've been doing a lot of these, and I think when I think I've got it down to a system, there's always a malfunction that I've got to fix.
Isn't that life, though? That's just how life is, right?
Oh, you have that happen to you, too? Oh, okay. I thought I was special.
Sorry, hate to tell you.
So, Dr. Marlena, it's interesting. I really know very little about you. I'm going to find out about you today, all right, and find out some interesting things about you, I'm sure. First of all, let's start off by how we connected. All right. Tell me, why you were so great that David said, Tim, you need to have Dr. Marlena on your show.
Well, as you know, David is just fabulous. So David is actually my publicist/publisher, because between the David and Isabel duo, they have helped me get my book out, get my story, not even my book, just my story out. I have one of those stories that someone was praying for a miracle, and I'm that miracle showing up for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a neat place to be in life, is to go, okay, well, I know I'm the miracle. I just got to wait for who it is I'm supposed to give that miracle to.
Right. In life, I things would come at me, and I'd be like, am I going through this? And I heard that voice from God say, one day someone's going to cross your path. Is going to need to hear your testimony, because they're going to be on the ledge of life, and your words are going to make a difference. And so that's why I'm on this journey, actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
What you do now. You want to explain a little bit about what you do now so my audience understands what you do?
Sure. I'm a doctor of management. I've spent my whole career in human resources, pretty much the last 15 years in the HR director role. And so I started seeing individuals come across my desk. So when you hit 40, you're in a protected class. And so they would come across my desk, and I would be that person that would have that decision maker that say, yeah, we have enough paper trail to say goodbye, that type of story. And I just had to start, asking those questions, because at one point, just before I turned 40, I found myself spiritually and mentally DOA. And that's how I became actually the walking miracle. In the effort to fix my life, I actually had a surgery that I found out later, of course, I really didn't need. It was trying to fit into what society said, or what my own feeling inadequate, was telling me at the time. So I opted for the gastric bypass, and I actually died on the operating table.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to enlighten us with that story a little bit more? All right. I would love to hear that one.
Yeah. So I had this gastric bypass surgery in order to have another child, because I thought by giving love to, having this child that would love me, and have that, my boys were leaving the nest. My husband, we're serial entrepreneurs, so he had his own thing. I was in corporate at the time, not quite fulfilled. And then I thought, wow, great. I'll have this baby. I'll get at least a 5-year run out of this, having someone to need me again. And so I had a tubal with my last son. And the doctor was like, the reproductive doctor, he was like, sure, we can reverse things, but you need to lose 75 to 100 pounds. And of course, me being the fix-it, I came up with I thought was the greatest plan since sliced white bread. And that was to have this gastric bypass. And so I went on for the surgery. I'm thinking on day 3, after I had the successful surgery, I'm thinking day 3, I'm up, I'm starting the process. I'm going home. My nurse runs in and she's like, checks, my vitals, and she's like, I'll be right back. And I mean, not even 5 minutes later, she's back with my surgeon. And he says, we suspect leakage and we're going to take you back into surgery. Oh, well, no. When I went into that surgery, Tim, I didn't wake up into consciousness for 80 days. So literally, I coded on the table twice. Mm-hmm. They resuscitated me back into life, but I was in an unconscious state for 80 days. So that's sort of like where we are now inside this cocoon. Mm-hmm. So for 80 days, I laid there in my cocoon. But it was, wow, if you look at it one hand, it was a bad thing because I lost 80 days of my life, but I gained so much more. When I woke up, there was machines and there was noises, and the surgery had gone in there for, they said we had to reverse. So your original surgery, we reversed it. But your life is never going to be the same because you'll never eat solids again and you'll never drink. You'll be on this feeding tube, forever. And I just said no. I said no. I went to my higher power, my source. I went to God and I said, no, you promised me life and abundantly. Mm-hmm. And he said, what do you want? Pretty much. What are you going to do? And I thought I was going to get up off that bed and be this miracle and I was going to change everybody's life instantly. Well, it didn't happen that way.
Wait, nothing ever happens instantly? Yeah. Okay.
So that was my story, but I got to that point because I didn't understand I had everything that I needed, that I actually was born with everything that I needed. Mm-hmm. So it was like when I got to 35, so between 35 and 39, I actually turned 40 years old. Just imagine this, turning a whole new decade in a coma. You don't know what's going on. And so I'd gotten, it's sort of like, David puts up that one slide and it just resonates with me, died at 35, didn't get buried until 75 or 80, if we're lucky, right?
Yeah.
So, but that was me. And I just had to go on this journey, and I call it a destiny journey, to figure out why me? Why am I here when others for far less are gone? And what the great I am said to me was that I am enough, that I am a piece of the masterpiece, that whatever I set my mind to, yes, I can do. Yes, I will do it. And just watch me do it. Mm-hmm. But then it comes to that how do we do that? Yeah. Well, it comes to tapping into what our purpose is. And so there's purpose and passion came forward.
Cool. Coming out of that, in your mind, I mean, it wasn't until you were awake that you were like, oh, really? Or did you were you literally, in a dream state, mentally battling? Do you remember, or can you remember that?
No, I remember. I remember nothing during the coma.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that lesson was not for me. That was for someone else. I was here in the local, when I say someone else, I was here in the local Holy Cross Hospital. I live in the San Fernando Valley. And I was told that on the day of that surgery, that one, they said that, normally they say, here's your 50-50, you have 50-50 chances, or you have, 70-30 or something. Mine was, if she doesn't have this now, and this was like the third or fourth surgery. Yeah. I don't even remember this particular one. If she doesn't have this surgery, she won't make it. And my it's again connections and the people that are around. My tribe got behind me, and they came, and not only were they praying for me in that cafeteria, they said there was over 200 people in that cafeteria. Now this is what I've been told. Yeah. And they were praying, and one person told me, he said it was like the ceiling opened up, God walked in because the hair stood up on his arms, and he said they kind of just knew at that point I was going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And so when the surgeons came out, they said, my husband and my parents said the surgeons came out, and they had looked like they had been ridden hard and put away wet. Mm-hmm. Wow. and they said, well, how is she? And he said, well, if she makes it 48 hours, we'll see. Uh-huh. well, I made it for
I know you made it. Yeah.
made it 48 hours. But when my surgeon came to me after I was hospitalized for 6 months, and he'd come in one of those times and he said, I know you're mad at me. And I was mad at you for what? He said, because, it's sort of like, I broke you. And I was like, no. See, what he didn't understand, he was the instrument. Yeah. And what I didn't understand was that my higher power was in control of everything, every choice that I had made. And so that's what I teach on now through Purpose and Passion. Mm-hmm. Every choice we make.
It makes my morning struggle of just trying to get my computer to connect so that I can do this interview with you. It makes it look like a minor problem now.
Right. Think about, I'm strapped to they came in and my physical therapist, she says, we're going to get you up to walk today. Walk. Teach you how to walk. What do you mean walk? I've been walking all my life. That's what I'm thinking. Because I had no voice at that time. I had a trach in, and I had no, physical audible voice. Yeah. And I was like, what's she talking about? I've been walking all my life. So, they put you on this cot like thing. They strap this big band around and they stand you up. And then when your feet hit the ground, it's like, whoa, my knees buckled. And had the belt not been there holding me, I would have crumbled to the floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's when and learning to brush our teeth and comb our hairs again, that's where the real struggle came in. The epiphanies and the aha moments started coming at that point in time for me. And the night when I'm laying there one night having this major pity party about woe is me, and my gastric bypass didn't take, and I'm still overweight, and I still have this issue, and the nurse comes in and she tells me, she got in my face. And that's what this is what we do as coaches, right? She got in my face and she said, shut up. Mm-hmm. She said, because could be worse. A mother of 3 passed on last night. Yeah. And you're still here for your 4 sons.
Yeah. Yeah.
She brought it home. And I was like, wow. So
it's so neat, Dr. Marlena, when we get to count our blessings. And like I said, it makes every problem I had this morning seem minor. It seemed like that was a problem. But you came through a lot. And I had no understanding that, things like that, where you had to learn to basically walk and brush your teeth again. Yes. These are things that we take advantage of every day that we know how to do. And I didn't realize that that's some of the stuff you had to go through.
Yes, absolutely. The basic things we take for granted, getting up in the morning under our own power. Because there were times when I couldn't even get out of the bed. The nurses had to come and get me out to just sit me up in a chair. And 6 months of this to the year goes by. And the first year of that, I was actually back to work.
Oh, wow.
So wow. I kind of relate that to where we are right now in the darkest days of this COVID thing going on. And how, we just want to get up and run free. We want to break out. We were talking in our groups yesterday, at the conference, the joint venture conference, and we just want to get out and get a little antsy. But right now we're in that cocoon where we can take time to strengthen ourselves and build up on ideas. How I've cleaned closets and drawers. Just some of the basic things. So when it comes time and they lift you can go and run and free and all this is over, we can go out and we're so much more poised and ready for the new life that we're going to have. So,
I want to go through the journey of that first year. All right. And you having to learn the things. And then I do want to make sure I get into, you got a book on this. I want to get into that today, but that journey, that first year. All right. How many times did you want to give up? I'm just curious. Be honest with us. It's
daily.
Oh, wow.
Daily. It hurts so bad to stand on my own feet. I just wanted to say, I don't want to do this. And that was the day, that would be the day that Stacy, love her. She was my physical therapist. She would come in and she'd say, okay, time to get up. And I said, I don't want to do it today. And she would say, I don't care what you want. And she'd pull the covers back and she'd take the tennis shoes and she put them on. Yeah. And she'd say, come on, let's go. Now, she worked usually Monday through Friday. So on the weekends, when the crew that were there, they would come in and they would say, okay, it's time to get up. And I'd say, no, I don't want to do it. And they say, okay, refuse. And they write it in the chart and they'd go on by their business. Now, they both were doing their jobs, but I'm glad for the Stacy. I call her my Stacy Angel. My Stacy Angel, she was like, not on my watch. You're not going to, again, one of my favorite quotes, who loses when you decide not to win, from Dr. James Dentley. And that just resonates with me so much here, because my children would have lost. My husband would have lost. My friends and family and those that would have come across my path for my testimony would have lost had I not kept on going. So,
that's why I asked you, I mean, how often did you want to give up? Because I thought it was going to be something like that. And I know you do. You coach and consult clients now, correct? Yeah, all right. And how many times do you have to? Are you finding yourself on both sides of the fence, coaching your clients? With some days it's get up, I don't care, and other days like, okay, refuse.
Well, no, I don't I believe in pushing. Okay. Now, I don't pull. I learned this lesson from my grandmother many, many years ago. She said, you can push someone. It's not hard to push and encourage and push. But when you have to start pulling them, you hurt yourself and you can hurt them as well. Okay. So for those that want to show up, I will push. I even have a ministry of presence where if you're not even sure what it is you need or what you want to do, I just sit here and look at you like we're looking at each other right now. I can sit here in that ministry, no preaching, no judgment, just sitting here and being part of a community of just breathing with you wherever you are right now. Okay. And because I truly believe that when the pain gets bad enough, you'll get up.
Cool. Because I mean, I was just curious, because you said both of them are doing their job. All right. And so I was asking if you get into it as well. Yeah. Now, how many years ago was this? Can I ask that?
Sure. This June will be 16.
16 years. So you're almost like, so in your new life, do you consider this a new life, first of all? And in this new life, do you consider yourself, okay, I'm a teen, now I can go rebel now?
Well, it is a new life, and I am only 6. And I say that and I have rebirth days instead of birthdays. I have rebirthday celebrations, and it has been 16 years, and there's no such thing as rebelling. What I did learn about that is it's not so much rebelling; it's finding your own path.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And with 4 boys, my oldest is 33 and my youngest is 23, and in between, right? Each one has, my oldest said to me one day, Mom, you were really hard on us and you let my baby brother get away with everything. It's not that I let him get away with everything. It's that I learned that my limiting beliefs was limiting his potential. If I don't allow him to be him. And I didn't learn that, unfortunately, until we got closer to the younger one being, in his 20s than the older one being in his 30s. So,
and it's interesting how many times we find that our lives, like, we're out there helping people with stuff that we've gone through. Yeah. What is it that most of your clients come to you that they're going through? And is it less or more than what you went through?
Only from the physical perspective, I say less. But it's the same. Most of my clients are women, and I identify with them because they're wearing these masks. And my mask of choice was fine and okay. So even if I was racked in pain, and this was prior to surgery, if anyone was racked in pain, I'd still say fine and okay. And I found myself even years after the surgery, after being this walking miracle, that even if I still had a lot going on and someone said to me, hey, how are you? I'd still be fine and okay. And this is sort of where the book came. I was anything but at both times, pre and post. And so that's where I find many of our women, we're that nurturing group that no matter what, we're like, just keep bringing it on. Sure, I'll do it. Yeah, I will. Okay, you want me to come to that party? I will. And we know we just keep stacking these things on. And now when I say masks, I don't think masks are bad by themselves. I think you should send your representative out to meet whatever and then go from there. It's just getting stuck behind any one of them. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I find many of my women. And then the second thing is their secondary gain, excuse me, I talk really fast. Their secondary gain of their whatever. So most of the time is the salaries at their jobs. They hate jobs. They don't like what they're doing. They really prefer to be out pursuing their passion or what was, what they felt was their great hobbies or whatever something close to their heartstrings, and they're just showing up at these jobs because they need to pay the rent and the mortgage and the car payments and stuff. And that was me. I was a serial entrepreneur, had a great life, but yet I liked my independence, so I kept showing up at the job because the salary was good and the benefits were good, but I hated being there. I hated being the one that decided whether someone kept their job or didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned your book there. I want to go into what what you wrote the book, and first of all, when did you write the book, and then we'll go into the book itself.
Well, it was a 15-year journey, and I actually got done with it in the last year. Okay. I started and stopped. I kept being encouraged by my pastor. I'm active in the ministry. I've been encouraged, put this book out. They need to hear this. I'd start, I stopped. But it took about a good year to finally sit down and quiet myself from the distractions to really hear what, as a vessel, the message was going to be, that was going to flow through me. And then we launched, I don't know if you were there in January. We launched the book in January. I just started speaking and I do a lot of speaking in the churches and women's groups and organizations like that. And I was getting a momentum, and COVID happened. So I just kind of switched gears a little bit here. Yeah. This year, I mean, I'm a speaker and I usually travel a lot. And, I think that's the conversation that got David and I talking this year, was the fact of what conferences we actually are not going to because of the fact they were canceled. Right. But I mean, so you wrote the book over the last year. Is the book about your story or and first of all, do you have a copy of it you can hold up and show the audience too? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
There.
Okay. Discovering your destiny. Cool. Yeah. Cool.
The power of possibilities to reinvent the inevitable. So rediscovering your journey. Rediscovering your destiny is about my journey, but I want you to see it from your eyes. So I have chapters, for example, like misery kills. I mean, if you're miserable, you're killing everything around you and your potential. So it's sort of like I say to, and I was saying it to the women, but I have to tell you, I have more men that have actually gotten the book and they connect with me and say, Dr. Marlena, I've lost my identity too. What do you have for us? So I'm actually working on the second one as I'm promoting this one as well, because I have something for you men too. Cool. But it's for that woman who sort of woke up and said, wow, how did I get here? For me, it was on that operating table. For them, it could be, wherever they stand right now. How did I get here? This is not the outcome that I dreamed of. My book helps them get back to awareness and connection with that little girl or that woman or that dream and that vision they had back when we were playing house or playing doctor or playing teacher or whatever it was. You dreamed then. It helps you get back to that. And there's actual steps, and it's all a reflection from your perspective. I tell you my story, how I came through, what it looks like for me and how I got, and then you are challenged step by step along the way to write your own story. And what I like to say, Tim, go to the dollar store, get a dollar notebook. And I like journals. I love journals. But get that dollar notebook.
Yeah, I'm going to show you mine, and you're going to laugh because I buy them 99 cents at a time.
Yeah. Absolutely. You understand where I'm going then.
Yep.
Get that dollar notebook and start writing and start with the book here has questions and evaluation, and start answering those from your heart. And then keep those words. And as you grow and go back and look at what you said on whatever day. And let me tell you, that 99-cent notebook becomes a priceless workbook.
Yeah.
Priceless. Yeah. So I just walked them through. I also have with the coaching, I have the online training courses where you can go through. I was using Zoom because I touch everyone. Yeah, I'm here with my ministry everywhere. So I've been using Zoom long before now for my community. And we still do that. We do what I call destiny journeys. And still lead them on that and coach it and just put you back into awareness and set your intentions and know that if you don't keep being fluid in life, you become stagnant, and stagnant water smells badly.
Yeah. So you in your journey, when you come out of that 16 years ago, and it may have even been before that, but did you have like a mentor or someone that, like, you know what I mean, became like the guide for you, or maybe it was just a word of wisdom they gave you that helped you grow?
I do talk about it in the book. Mine was books. I am an avid reader. My favorite thing to do would be if I could do it right this minute, I would be sitting on the deck of a ship with a book and a nice cooling non-alcoholic beverage.
Oh, okay.
I just love to read, or with my Amazon Kindle. But I read everything I could get my hands on. And the things I could not read, I used to drive 109 miles to work one way. And I would use the tapes and the CDs, Tony Robbins, Oprah, Steve Harvey. Oh my God, I get hungry. I can't even think of his name right. Les Brown. Yeah. Lisa Nichols. I would listen to all of these individuals. I couldn't get in front of them physically, but I could get my mind in front of them. And it's one of the reasons why I actually studied. I'm certified in NLP, in timeline therapy, and hypnosis, because I believe we can change the mind. We can change anything. We have the right mindset. So
it's funny. All right. I've had a lot of people over the years I've talked to about, NLP, and people I've known that have studied NLP. You're only the third time I've ever heard someone use the timeline therapy.
Oh.
All right. And I actually, there was a guy who was on my show way back when, and he actually spoke at one of my events. Same thing. He did the same that time. And that's the first time I'd ever heard of it. And like now it's the first time it's ever been mentioned on my show. So cool. Well, it's always an interesting journey to hear what people have gone through and how they're writing a book. But you said you're writing a second one, so that means the journey's not over, correct?
Journey is not over. The journey is never over until that last breath.
However, this one here, I'll bet this journey is a lot easier to take it to the next level after you feel like getting up and walking now every day.
No.
It's not. Okay.
No. Every day, I know the difference. Let's put it this way. I know the difference, though, of the value of getting up every day and taking that walk. Versus, do I still want to do it? No, there's not days I don't want to get up and do it. I have a treadmill. I laugh. I have a treadmill right here in my office, and I was looking at it yesterday. It looks like a coat rack because there's all kind of stuff just thrown on it. But the value is, I know I got up this morning and I knew we were going to be on for this show at 11. I already went out and I did my 5 miles.
Okay.
And I walk because I know that, I came back and I'm going to probably need a nap after this. But you learn the value of the difference between doing it and not doing it. It doesn't get any easier. It makes you feel a whole lot better, though. Get up and get moving. And you asked about the coaches. I told you about how I got my mindset by listening to the greats. But yes, I personally do. I have coaches and mentors, depending on where I am and what stage I'm in.
Cool. The fact that all of us, it seems like there's always a connection between people who are coaching and mentoring others and the fact of who they had for a coach or mentor. You know, it's like you talked about your angel there in the hospital. All right, they got you up and walked. You know, that's, you know, to some people, that's just another person doing a job.
Right.
You know, to me, it was a boss many, many years ago.
Uh-huh.
He probably, you know, I was a blip on his nightmare screen working for him for, I think, a year. But we cherish them, all right, because they meant so much to us, but they were just doing their job.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you do your job every day now. You go out, you're setting up, finding new people to help and coach and client.
Absolutely.
Do you ever walk into someplace and have someone come up and go, well, Dr. Marlena, because it's something you said, because you were on that weird podcast that one time. And let me tell you how that influenced me. And you hear this story and you're like, wow. Happened to you? It's happened to me. So happened to you?
It does happen. You know, I went a year ago. I did a pitch. I'm all this is new to me. Again, I'm that corporate director. Loved what I was doing. I was the serial entrepreneur who had a string of barbershops. So I'm this coaching and touching people is new. Mm-hmm. And so I go to an event to do a pitch. And so I do the pitch. I thought I bombed it. I thought I sucked. Mm-hmm. I got through it. I go sit down to watch the rest of the event, and a woman approaches me and she says, oh my God, what you said is what I needed to hear. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was thinking, what part of it did I ask? And she said, yeah. And then she said, can we connect? And I was like, sure. Yeah. And when we connected, she told me about where she was in her life. And how I started is this. She was on that ledge of life, thinking about jumping. And something I said kept her from jumping.
Wow.
And to be honest, if I say nothing else, if I do nothing else, I'm done. Yeah. That's what and I call it my ministry because it is. That's what my ministry is. It's about touching people with my story and my life. I say my craziness, my chaos, and my madness. But having a message in there that people can say, you know, I saw myself in what you said, and if you can go on, I can go on.
Cool. So, well, you know, I mean, for the people who are listening, Dr. Marlena, the people listening in, all right, who may be in this time where we're going through dealing with some of the very things that you dealt with, but in a different way, what advice would you give to them if they listen to this podcast today?
Faith is the number one thing. So, you know, what does that look like? We hear that all the time. Faith is, you know, just believing and not having evidence. But what does it look like on a daily walk? It's just giving up our attempts to try to understand what God or source says about what's happening right now and take action to find and create what your heart's telling you. And so let me give you that example. So someone says to me, you know, I want to buy a house and I'm praying about it. It's not enough to just pray about it. Mm-hmm. Yes, you pray about it, but you have to research. You go to the neighborhood where you want the house. You put it, and I'm a big proponent of vision boards. Put it on your vision board. Whatever you want, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. Do that, but then go to the neighborhood, drive through the neighborhood at night, go in the daytime, check the schools out, do your part of it, take action. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I believe Source will give you the increase on it. And then we have to understand 3 things. And this happens always when you have faith. 3 things will happen. Yes, you'll get an answer. Go ahead, do whatever. And we're happy about that answer because we want the yeses. But then we'll get no. And then no is like, oh, I'm okay with no because I got the closure and I'm but when God says, wait, mm-hmm. we have a hard time waiting. Yeah. And that's when we have to lean into that part of the faith to know that it's beyond my control. The master has looked at the grand plan thing and he sees where what I'm asking is going to fit in there for my life. Garth Brooks' song, Unanswered Prayers, sometimes that's the best blessing. Yeah, so knowing that whatever it was didn't work out or did, be good with it. I mean, we shifted our focus from the big C word being cancer now to the big C word being COVID. Mm-hmm. And yes, it is. I've had personal family members pass and sick and all that from it. But at the same time, I can't control that. but I can control how I show up about it.
Okay.
Yeah. There for my family and my friends that are going through it. And that's what having faith and knowing tomorrow's not promised. Let's get through today. Today is a present. It is a gift. And just shifting that mindset. So that answers your question, too.
Why, thank you. Well, what is one place that our listeners can get a hold of you and find you at?
Sure. My website is purpose, the letter N, the word passion.com. So purposeandpassion.com.
Cool. So go check out Dr. Marlena at purposeandpassion.com.
Yes.
So, well, I've had a great time having you on the show, but as I close out, I've got a game I want to play. You've heard about my game, right?
Yes.
All right. So I've actually sit here and doctored down a few of these just made for you.
Okay. 9
questions. I call it this or that. I saw Sammy Hagar do it, so I thought I'd be cool like Sammy and try this too.
Okay.
So here it is. I'm going to give you 2 choices. You pick one, and some of them will probably elaborate on them. Some will be like, yeah, whatever, and move on.
Okay.
My first one is I always like to find out who my science fiction people are, and that is by asking Star Wars or Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Star Trek? Okay. Not are you not a big fan of either? Or you're just trying to figure out which one's which.
I don't think I've ever seen any Star Wars at all. I've followed Star Trek as a kid.
We watch them all faithfully in this house, but anyway, both. So my next one is you know what I mean? This is kind of a ladies type question, is like, do you like to dress up, or would you rather walk around in like yoga pants and sweatpants?
Dress up.
Dress up. So yeah. Cool. So the next one, you kind of alluded to this during the conversation today, but I'm going to ask it. Would you rather listen to a podcast or read a book?
Read a book.
Read a book. Yeah, that's your favorite. But you said on the podcast today, you said, sometimes you're into the listens, but.
Well, I like both.
Yeah.
I would do both.
Yeah, I've gotten into a couple of audiobooks at least recently. So, I mean, almost the same thing. It's kind of in between the two. So, yeah. Now we're going to move on to some food. Okay. How about taco or hamburger?
Taco.
Any specific taco? I mean.
Oh, fish tacos.
Okay. So my next one here is based on beverage. Would you rather have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea?
Cup of tea.
Tea. All right. And you the hot tea or iced tea person?
Iced tea.
Iced tea?
Not sweet tea.
Oh, not sweet tea? Oh, man. Down here in the South, we got to have our sweet tea. If you go to the movies, would you get popcorn or candy?
Popcorn.
Huh?
Actually, both. I get both.
I've never get anybody who just goes candy. They all have to get popcorn or both. Yeah.
That's the point of going to the movies is the popcorn.
Yeah. How about going on to taking a day off? You going to go up to the mountains or down to the beach?
Down to the beach.
Is your beaches open out there yet?
Not in LA County.
Not in LA yet. Okay. We've been watching some of the stuff of what gets open and what doesn't.
Yeah, no, not in LA County.
Okay. So for us in Texas, all right, the restaurants open, like the governor's saying certain things come open. All we heard in Texas was starting Friday, you can get unlimited, our free refills of chips and salsa. Okay. That's what we heard.
My sister-in-law's in Fort Worth, and she was, Waco, and she was like, they opened the gates and everybody went out.
Everybody's going to get, chips and salsa at a restaurant real soon. So my next one here is a war for some people. And you know what I mean? After I get your answer, we'll get a couple of maybe tell a little bit of stories, but the toilet paper, does it go over or under on the roll?
Over. And I actually Googled the specs on how it was originally designed. And it was designed to go over.
Dr. Marlena, that question, number one, I've had people who are like the calmest people through the whole interview until you ask them that question and like fire comes out of their eyes as to what the answer is. And then I've had one girl a couple of weeks ago, single girl from up in New England, and she says, well, if I'm dating a guy, after going to his house, the third time I switch the toilet paper from under to over, I'm breaking up with him. Oh. This relationship is going nowhere.
Yeah, it's pretty much if that's the deal breaker. Yeah, Don't get married, because trust me, it's a whole lot more. I'm getting 28 years, so it's been a whole lot more than whether it's under or over. Trust me.
Well, my last one is one I like to ask, and I always put it in my questions, but I seem to be getting more women having to answer this question. This is not necessarily that you like it or like to wear it. This is just like a standard question that has everybody asks the meaning behind it. So it's boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Boxers? Okay. Your husband's in the background taking notes. He wants to know what he needs to go get this week.
I like that. To remember to do that. That's a good icebreaker.
Yeah, it is. They're all like random questions. You know what I mean? This morning, a guy was really into sci-fi through his interview. So I asked him like all the sci-fi questions of like, you know, from the Matrix and all that. They're just designed to be fun. But I always have the toilet paper question because that is the one question that will, like, you know, it's either going to light fire or they're going to go, well, no, I've read the patent, or no, it goes over because, and like, there's never one answer as to why it goes this one way or the other. Mm-hmm. They all have a reason and none of the reasons match.
Right. Oh, I've had a great time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being on the show. And one more time, say your website so both the people on the audio as well as the video can get it.
Sure. It's purpose, the letter N, passion.com. So purposeinpassion.com. All
right. Well, Dr. Marlena, it has been a joy having you on the show today, and I appreciate it. You know what I mean? We'll have you back again sometime because we want to find out about book number 2.
Yes. I've already started the research. I asked 10 questions, 10 things that would make or break a relationship from men. And I immediately got some responses. Some are still thinking about it, but it was, I'm excited to do more research on it.
Cool. So we'll have you on again when that one comes out, and we're looking forward to that. For you, our listeners, we thank you for tuning in today. Go check out Dr. Marlena, all right, at her website, purposeinpassion.com, all right, and be sure to tune in, subscribe to our show so you can catch them all live when they go live. Follow us on iTunes, Anchor FM, and on YouTube. I'm Tim Gillette. I'll see you next time.